Perfect. Hello, guys. How's everyone doing? Hey, Hockey News Report. Hey, Coast to Coast. How's it going, guys? How's everyone doing? We're going to have a little bit of a stream today. I don't know how long we're going to go, but we're going to go and review every trade and everything in that sort. We're going to be looking over some JFresh stuff, over some analytics, talk about who won each trade and how, it'll affect each team out there. So we're going to be doing that. Yeah, I was not expecting that Matha trade. That deal came out of nowhere. Awesome, Coast to Coast. Thank you very much for sharing the live stream. I do need to share it to one more person. I feel bad about Varane in playoffs, no playoffs. I mean, that's part of the job, though. I mean, he's gonna go to a team where he's gonna get the ice time that he's gonna want, especially the fact that he's gonna be, playing alongside of Dylan Larkin now. So, it's definitely not the situation you want to be in, but it's not terrible. I mean, it is the Detroit Red Wings, but the team will get better there. If you trust Stevie Y, then you should trust him because he's gonna make that team into a pretty good damn team. Someone's hammering something. And then I will post the link up on my Facebook page too. And then we'll get it going on the stream here soon, guys. Oh god, I'm gonna sneeze here soon. Live with a little NHL trade deadline review show. Come chill and vibe, baby. All right, now we can get everything officially started. There we go. Oh yes, trust TV. Why? What he does? Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a perfect spot there for Varane, which we're gonna get into the trade right now because I haven't really looked too much into that deal. So let's get into looking at everything now. Hopefully you guys. Oh, whoops, wrong button. Should be able to see me. Yeah, that perfect. The way I wanted it to go. So. Now, first of all, make sure you go check out JFresh. He is a wonderful guy. I will get his Patreon now for you guys because he is an absolute amazing analytic person. I absolutely love JFresh. Patrick Barron, a couple other, I think it's Patrick Bacon, I think it is. I can't exactly remember, but oh my god, it's a pain in the ass. You guys got to go check him out. He's a great guy. There's his JFresh there. Go check him out. Amazing guy. Gives some real good analytics. It's only $5 a month, and you get cards like this that I absolutely love looking at. We're going to be using his stuff a little bit today, so of course I got to shout him out and give him that, little bit of that thing so I don't have to, deal with his copyright. By the way, Adam Ernie has been a pleasant surprise for the Wings lately for scoring. Really? He has? Let's take a look at that right quick then. Adam Ernie. Where is he at? There he is. Well, he's a big kid too. 10 goals. Oh, that's not bad. No, that's not terrible. 10 goals this year. That's not terrible there for Adam Ernie. It's not looking like too bad of a move there. Good pickup from Tampa Bay. I mean, Stevie Y knew Adam Ernie, so it's a good keep there for them. So let's get in, I guess, to the big blockbuster move, which was the Detroit Red Wings and Washington Capitals move, where we seen Mantha getting sent to the Washington Capitals, and in return they get Panic, Varane, a first and a second. So this is a pretty big move, honestly, for the Detroit Red Wings. They get a lot of return. They get a very good player in Jacob Varane, first of all. Varane, young, 25-year-old, not too bad. I see I have Photoshop. Yeah, I do. It's part of my program, which is nice that I get Photoshop. I sadly will not be having it afterwards, but I absolutely love Photoshop. So Jacob Varanen, 25 points, 39 games. He's not looking too bad. Analytically wise, Jacob Varanen doesn't look like a terrible player if my internet could work. Great offensively. His defensive numbers are not bad. He's a great finisher. I think this is going to be the biggest thing that I think the Red Wings fans are really going to love. And I know they've been bashing Anthony Mantha, but Anthony Mantha doesn't deserve that disrespect. Anthony Mantha is a great player in it himself. That's why it was a big return for Anthony Mantha. Like, if you look at Anthony Mantha, he lacks the finishing, but he has great even strength offense and also even strength defense. He's actually pretty good defensively as well. He has gone downhill defensively. He is at 34%, this year. But in past recent years, he's been a great defensive guy for the Detroit Red Wings. So Anthony Mantha is someone to, keep an eye out on. And I think, honestly, this is a great deal for both teams in the end, honestly. I'll get that back to full screen there. But I think this is a great move in the end, really is. You're getting Jacob Varanen, Panic. I think it's a great deal for both teams, honestly. Panic, 9 points in 36 games. He wasn't doing too much for them. Oh my god, I put these hotkeys as something I didn't think was going to be too important, but they actually are important. So let me just switch up these hotkeys again and actually try to find a perfect hotkey where it won't bug anything. Jesus. We'll do this one. And then for this one, we'll do minus that. And we'll do that one. Okay. So that should work now. So this one should be, hang on. This one should be this one. Oh, whoops. And then this one should be this one. Perfect. Okay. This is the one that we want, is the 5 one. D5 one. But also, welcome everyone to the stream. We have a couple more people pouring in. Welcome everyone. If you haven't already, make sure to slap that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. That'll be very much appreciated, as right now we're on our road to 500. But right now, today, we're just doing a little stream. We're not doing any play-by-play or anything. Today, we're just going to go over every deal, talk about everything that's happened so far during trade deadline, which wasn't a lot. But just a little bit. Perlo to the Sabres for a 7th round pick. Sadly, Philly has no. Yeah, because they traded theirs, or they did pick up a 7th round pick for Eric Gustin, which was what's Montreal doing, bro? Yeah, you must be feeling bad today, Hockey News Report. Your team was just not having a good day today. You lost Mete. You picked up Eric Gustin. Didn't you do another deal too today? No, you did one yesterday though, picking up Merrill. Anyway, so we were on the topic of this deal here. Panic. I don't think they're losing too much out on a Ricard Panic. Like, I don't think you're losing out too much on Panic. He's a decent player. He's been playing really good defensively this year. He's not doing so well offensively, so that's going to be something that you're going to have to be concerned about. But with Washington picking up, Anthony Mantha, it makes it a pretty strong team. Mantha could play anywhere up and down the lineup. I know he's only had 21 points in 42 games, but this is the exact same thing. When Eric Stahl or Taylor Hall left Buffalo, those are lower producing teams, and I believe that, Anthony Mantha, put in the right situation here with the Washington Capitals, will be able to produce. I mean, he had 38 points in 43 games the year last year, and the year before that, he had 48 points in 67 games. This is a guy that can produce. This is a guy that can play some good hockey, and I think this is honestly a very strong deal for the Washington Capitals. But for what they gave up, I don't think it's worth it. You lose out on Jacob Varanen, who is a nice young player. who has a great finishing category, and you're missing out on Panic now, and you're also losing out on a first, and you're also losing out on a second. You know, the Washington Capitals, they're going for it this year, from what it seems like with that big blockbuster move, but I feel like it's just gonna, I don't know, come back to bite them, because this is a move that you're trading away a lot of future pieces for a guy that, you know, has proved himself. He is locked up. He's locked up at a very nice contract, and I think that's why maybe, you know, Washington was more lucrative to go after Mantha. Actually, the Habs really did need a puck-moving guy in Eric G. But you had a puck-moving guy in Victor Mete. You had a puck-moving guy in Victor Mete. You already had one. I mean, you only traded him for a 7th, but Eric Gustafsson's been an absolute goof this season. He has really not been very well defensively this year. And offensively, he's been not bad. But I think Jacob Varanen was a free agent. So this was a great move, honestly, by the Washington Capitals. They get a guy that's locked up on a nice term. And I think he'll be a good fit there for the Washington Capitals. I'm happy the Oilers got a D-man that's great at checking. Yeah, Dmitry Kulikov is looking great. We will be getting to that deal very, very soon. But yeah, Mantha, great term, which is probably the reason why they had to pay a decent amount, because of the fact that Anthony Mantha had a good term and Varanen was on an expiring contract. And that's why they probably had to pay up the first. So in the end, you know, it's not a bad loss for the Washington Capitals. I think this is like a 50-50 almost between these two teams in this deal. Like, I'm definitely giving the leverage for sure to Detroit, because I do believe Jacob Varanen will be a decent player for the Detroit Red Wings if he's given that ice time. And, you know, that first round pick could be something, you know, later on in the draft, something deep in that. And they needed an extra first. They didn't have any extra first. So now you actually have that extra first there for Detroit. So I love the move for Detroit. I think it's a great move for both teams. In the end, Detroit's probably going to win this move if they, you know, score out on their draft picks, which I think they most likely will score on their picks. It's going to be very hard that they don't. Even though this draft is pretty questionable this year, this draft could legit go anywhere. So let's get all the way down to the first couple moves. We're going to just really dissect a lot of trades that has happened over the past couple days, because there wasn't a lot that happened today. But we're just going to really dissect a lot of trades. Hey, Avatar, how's it going, bud? My day's been going pretty well. I did my little bit of schooling and that I had to do, which I was sadly not able to do an all-day trade deadline stream, which is what I'm doing now. We're going live and talking a little bit about the deadline. Maybe these are getting stacked, which is not great. Yeah, that's the big thing too. Toronto really did make some nice moves. I think, you know what? Let's do team by team, actually. Let's do team by team. Let's start off with the North Division. Let's do the Calgary Flames first. We'll talk about them and what they did. Actually, what they didn't do, really. They didn't make a lot of moves. So I'll have one looking at the trades that they did. So the deals that they did was they got David Reddick off their team for a 3rd round pick, which, you know, bolsters up the Calgary Flames a little bit. And they get rid of a goalie that's been an absolute bum lately for, you know, for the Calgary Flames. 904 save percentage of 240. He has been looking terrible. But, you know, it's going to help their team a little bit. I do want to pop up Hockey Reference, though. Hey, Joey, how's it going, bud? Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying the trades. We're looking at all the Canadian teams right now. We're going to go through every team and talk about what they have done and who is the winners and losers of the deadline. But Riddick, he was just kind of an absolute bombshell this year, and then especially kind of going into last year, he wasn't doing very well. So they get a decent 3rd round pick, which, you know, builds up the prospect pool, which is the best thing for Calgary to do right now. They really need to start building up their prospect system. They weren't able to really trade anyone else because everyone has term, which is the biggest bummer for the Calgary Flames right now, is that everyone has term, and it's going to be a real big pain on what they do next. But I think next year they'll actually be able to dump off Goudreau, maybe even a Monahan, maybe even a Giordano. Would have been a guy that maybe get off your team. He hasn't been doing that great this year, but they were able to get rid of Riddick, and then they got an awesome deal. They got Emil Henneman and a 2022 second round pick for Sam Bennett. So they got the guy that's been, talked about in rumors for a while. They picked up practically 2 seconds with the Emil Henman and a second round pick that will help them in later on years for next year. So they're bolstering up, which I think is a good deal. I don't know too much about this kid. 13 points in 43 games there for in the SHL. Not looking like he's had too bad of a year there. I think it's actually finished up there now. So I think it honestly looks pretty good. Yes, I'm glad to be here, Peyton the Ruler. But I think this was a pretty easy W for the Calgary Flames. I mean, unless Sam Bennett goes on an absolute haul in these next little bit. He had 12 points in 38 games. You could take a look at his quick analytics, and you could see that, Sam Bennett didn't really have anything going very well for him. He wasn't getting that ice time, so maybe going to a Florida Panthers with Quenneville will actually be able to help him. He's going to be going to a competent team with some competent coaching. I think this one could even be a W for the Panthers, right? We've seen people say that, the Wenberg deal and everything like that Florida's so far done. They haven't done, their moves are very underrated. Hey, Terry and Kim Pagula. Oh, the Pagulas are in the house. How's it going? But this move here, I don't think it's terrible for the Florida Panthers, but it's a very steep asking price, especially for practically 2 second-round picks, and you've already traded away Henrik Bjorkström as well. The younger pool has already been traded. We'll get into Florida a little bit later on, but this is pretty big stocking of the shelves practically for the Calgary Flames, right? And that's the biggest thing. They needed to stock their shelves a little bit. They knew that, Sam Bennett hasn't really been a big key to the team, and they get to stock their shelves a little bit with a couple prospects. So I think it's a good move for the Calgary Flames. They stock the shelves a little bit, and they get some more picks to the team. Not bad moves for the Calgary Flames, and I really don't see them, losing out on any of these deals. Omar Castain, and so is Skinner. Yeah, Skinner, you're happy to keep Skinner, eh, Pagulas? So let's get on to the next team here, boys, and we'll get on to the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers. Yay, the Edmonton Oilers. All right. So let's go over them. They didn't do too much. They only made the one deal, which a lot of Oilers fans have been upset about it today. I don't mind it. We pick up a nice, reliable defenseman in Dmitry Kulikov, which does bolster up our defensive core a little bit more. Dmitry Kulikov has been kind of all over the place. Hey, Alexis, how's it going, bud? My wife likes Darlene, and I like Skinner. I think Darlene's a little bit better than Skinner, in my honest opinion, even though Darlene's been having a pretty poor season. Anyways, Kulikov, he's been a reliable defenseman over his career, not putting up too bad numbers. I think, honestly, Kulikov is not terrible. He has some actually pretty solid analytics. He's really good defensively, and you could be seeing that by this year. He's been actually great offensively this year and great defensively. So I think this is a steal by the Edmonton Oilers. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, blah, 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 but I honestly think Kulikov will be a good move. I know a lot of Oilers fans wanted to see Taylor Hall in a uniform or Ricard Raquel, but Holland was going to really stay really quiet this year, and we've been hearing reports that this offseason is going to be pretty big for the Edmonton Oilers, which I'm hoping it is. But I really do like this move. Ralph Kruger was one of my best friends, but whatever then. Oh, yeah. Well, the team had a big losing streak there, man. They had like 18 losses in a row, so it's like understandable to let go of that guy. The team was losing a lot of games. But yeah, Dmitry Kulikov, I think it's a great deal. We're only losing a fourth of next year, which I mean is another draft pick that we're losing once again, and it could possibly be our third, and we could be stuck with a first, second, and then a fourth or whatever. But I really don't care in the end. I think Dmitry Kulikov will be, a nice addition to the Edmonton Oilers. It will bolster our top four pairing up a little bit, especially since, Chris Russell's been an absolute bum this year. I think Dmitry Kulikov will be a very useful defenseman for the Edmonton Oilers. And yeah, I like Kruger too. I just think he's been, the places where he's coached, he just hasn't fit very well. The Edmonton Oilers, they were losing. The Buffalo Sabres, they were losing as well. And Kruger just didn't fit there, didn't fit the scheme. So, not a bad move by the Edmonton Oilers. I hope Kulikov does play alongside of Tyson Barrie, though, just to get that, offensive defenseman thing kind of going, and put Larson alongside of Darnell Nurse, or we throw Ethan Bear up on that top pair as well. It looks like we're also going to be pushing up Caleb Jones, and we'll have Chris Russell there as well. So hopefully that's not a thing that happens, and we do something else. But also, remember, I know Kulikov only has 2 points, but he's playing on one of the worst offensive teams in the New Jersey Devils. And so be careful on that. Because Kulikov, I think, could get a couple more points, especially since he's going to be playing, 19 minutes of ice time. I got to go because I need to talk to Adams there. All right, bud. Go talk with Adams. Hopefully you guys can fix up whatever the fuck is going on in Buffalo, man. Gotta fix that crap up. But yeah, Edmonton. Oh, Jesus. Edmonton didn't do too much. They just did little moves. Nothing really too much to talk about there, though. I like the Dmitry Kulikov move, though. I really do. I think it's going to be a useful move. Next up, Hockey News Report's favorite team, the Montreal Canadiens. Now, their thing was a little bit more of a weirder. I said in Off the Wall Hockey stream that the defense core kind of reminds me of the New Jersey Devils. Now this defense core is bolstered to the brim. They got Kulak, they got Weber, Edmondson, Petrie. They picked up Marill. They picked up Guffson. They really did bolster up the team, which I don't know. This could either be in the benefit of them, or it could really be kind of the downfall, right? So they picked up Stahl, they picked up Marill, and they picked up Guffson. Now, what Montreal threw away was, a third, a fifth, another fifth, and a seventh. Now, Montreal, they had the blessing of having a decent amount of picks. They didn't really have to worry about losing too much. And, first, second, they still have tons of picks. So what they did here, I don't mind it. I actually don't mind it. But the biggest thing that I did not like was that they lost Victor Mete. I think Victor Mete will be a huge loss. Analytically, he looks pretty damn good. Marill, he's going to be a really nice defensive defenseman. If they can't defend now, I don't know what to say. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? Marill, is he going to be enough for the, Montreal Canadiens? Will he be that big defensive defenseman for the team? I guess we'll have to find out, right? And they don't look that bad. Edmondson, of course, he hasn't been too great, so you get Marill and maybe Guffson. You get another puck-moving guy in Guffson, which, I mean, you definitely don't got a lot of maybe point-producing guys. Maybe you don't have to use Romanov as much, right? You could use him a lot less and focus on using Marill or Guffson. And you also have Ben Sherrod as well. So this defense core is very, very loaded up here for the Montreal Canadiens. And I like what they did because you're going to be going into a series against the Toronto Maple Leafs where it could be just about anything. So they have offense. They have defensive defensemen. Now, will they work together and will it work out? We'll have to see because they do have to quarantine for a week. So we'll have to see how everything works out. They already got Eric Stahl, and he hasn't been too bad there with the Montreal Canadiens. In his few games that he's played, 4 games, only 1 point -5. But he's a veteran leadership guy, so we'll have to see if he maybe can turn himself around and start producing a bit more there for the Montreal Canadiens. The biggest thing is just, they don't have that dominant top line guy. They're a very deep team, which is going to be a good thing. And they got Corey Perry, which I'm that's a big thing that they have is Corey Perry. He's just an asshole. So having him on your team just makes you kind of more, more greasy, makes you a tougher team to face up against. So I don't mind the move. I think it's a good move there for the Montreal Canadiens. I enjoy it. Morel's a good move. They got him for dirt cheap. They got Eric Stahl for dirt cheap as well, and also Eric Goffson. So good moves by the Montreal Canadiens. I think they did very good with what they did. So give you a pat on the back there, Hockey News Report. Now, does the team get better from here? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see once they get out on the field. But I don't feel like it's going to make too much of a difference. I don't know if it's going to fix up their defensive game. Because what have they been struggling the most on? Goals for and goals against, yeah, 9th. They could possibly become stronger, but the goals for, like, that was a big thing. Are they going to be able to score against the Toronto Maple Leafs? Are they going to be able to score against, Winnipeg or Edmonton if they do get into the second round? I mean, they've already proved that they could score against the Edmonton Oilers, but we'll have to see. And also Gallagher will be a big thing as well if he comes back from his injury all nice. But anyways, let's move on to the next team. I think Montreal did very good. I think I could give them an easy W in the trade deadline, especially for what they gave away and what they picked up. Very nice depth moves. Ottawa, they didn't do too much. They're the rebuilding team, so they're just going to be relying on getting, draft picks and bolstering their team up. But they don't have too many guys to really, trade away anyways in the first place. They did trade away Branson, which he's been heard you a big Louis Eriksson fan. Oh yeah, huge Louis Eriksson fan, man. I absolutely love the guy. Big Louis Eriksson fan right here. This is Eric Branson. And I don't know why Nashville picked him up. Don't understand it. He's great on the PK, but he's an absolute bum. He really is. He shouldn't even be in the NHL right now. And the thing is, they took him at a full $4 million. Is the trade still going on? No, we're just reviewing all the trades right now. That's what we're doing here on the show. We're just reviewing all the trades that happened over trade deadline and talking about who were the winners and losers of the deadline. But they got, is this a nice young guy, Brandon Fortunato, 24 years old. He hasn't been putting up too bad numbers there in the ECHL and didn't do too bad in the NCAA, so could possibly be somebody there for the Ottawa Senators and a 7th round pick. And I mean, if you get the bum Eric Branson off your team, you're good. A great defensive team, Juan Gabranson. Gabranson will ruin up their scheme. They will. They've already been pretty bad defensively just in general. I think, do they have a couple injuries maybe on their team? Maybe that's why. Abs, how's it going? I don't think we lost the deadline. No, I think you guys did very good at the deadline. I don't think with the deals that you did with picking up Morrill, Stahl and Gustafson for barely nothing. You pick up Gustafson for a 7th. The only loss I give you guys is losing out on Victor Mete. That's the only loss I really give you guys, that you lost him to the Ottawa Senators. And this is the big reason why that they probably win after Gabranson. It's the fact that they're missing Spezia, the fact that they're losing Fabro, Ellis, and Borowicki, and Alexander Carrier. They're already missing like half of their defense core there in Nashville, so that's probably why they picked up Eric Branson and they knew they could get him for cheap. I'm surprised Bernie didn't go in nowhere. Yeah, there wasn't too much of a goalie market, though. That was the thing. There wasn't too much of a goalie market here at this deadline. There wasn't too much talk about goalies. I hate Victor Mete. Why? He's a great analytic guy. He will be a huge player for the Ottawa Senators. Legit. Victor Mete is going to be a huge player for the Ottawa Senators, without a doubt. Hey, Linebot, how's it going, bud? Right? I mean, once he's in a good team, his analytics have been great over the years. He just hasn't been a very used player there for the Montreal Canadiens. So he'll go to a team that will use him a lot more. Yeah, and he could replace Mike Riley, who analytically, Mike Riley actually looks really good as well, which I think is a great pickup for the Boston Bruins. We'll get to them later on. Ottawa Senators pick up a nice 3rd. They also got rid of Braden Coburn, which is good because Braden Coburn has really just been kind of this season, especially watching him. He's kind of a big-time liability defensively. So now he'll go off to the New York Islanders and maybe play a little bit better there. Not a bad move for them. Should work out pretty good. He barely scores and does assists. Yeah, but that's the thing. He's young. You can't say it. A 22-year-old is a bust, bro. When was he drafted? In the 4th round. How can he be a bust when he was 22 years old and he's drafted in the 4th round? That's not a bust. That man's was drafted to be a lucky pick, and he is. He's gonna be a hella good player. You picked up Eric Gustafsson, man. Eric Gustafsson's analytics, compared to what Victor Mete was, is a bum. Eric Gustafsson can pass the puck, but do you want to know how many times he throws away that puck? This is why Eric Gustafsson was an absolute bum in the Philadelphia Flyers, and why he really wasn't in the lineup very much. Where's his giveaway numbers? Right here. 18 giveaways in 24 games. Up here, 58, 77, 23. Tons of giveaways. I don't know if you talked about this already, but what do you think of the Janmark deal? We'll definitely be getting into that one. Imagine Mike Riley goes to the Leafs later. He would be a Habs, Sender, Bruin. Oh, that would be weird. That would be weird. Gustafsson he is a bum, bro. He was a bum in Philadelphia. He was very good defensively. You can see by his analytics. He's a great power play specialist, and that's probably what he'll be for the Montreal Canadiens. And Victor Mete wasn't given that, so that's why Bergevin made the move. And that's probably why Victor Mete got claimed. But Gustafsson is going to turn that puck over a lot, and I bet you not. I will bet you not. I'm going to say it right now. That in the playoffs, if you guys play Gustafsson a lot against the Toronto Maple Leafs, I bet you not Gustafsson will hand that puck right over to Matthews, and Matthews will score that goal. And you guys will be calling out Gustafsson all over Twitter, calling him a bum. I say it right now. I call it right now. When it comes to playoff time, and Victor Mete is good. He is good. I will pop up a quick stat. Let me just find it. I would like to find this. Where is Jay Fresh's stat on Victor Mete? Give me Victor Mete, please. Please. Oh my lord. No, not that. Ah. There we go. Should be on this one. Yep. Perfect. Oh my lord. I'm popping up tons of crap. Anyways. This is Victor Mete. You're calling him trash? Look at him. He's short. Why are you saying he's short, bro? How is that a roast? He's short. That is the worst thing to say about someone in hockey. Look at the brinket. Victor Mete will be an absolute steal for the Ottawa Senators. He was a very underrated player in the Montreal Canadiens organization. You look at his numbers and look at Eric Gustafsson. You just got the worst offensive defenseman you can ever get. And Linebot, without a doubt, agree with you. Mete over Gustafsson any day of the week. That's why I would say that the Montreal Canadiens lost this day because of the fact that they lost Mete and got Gustafsson, who's going to be the guy that gives that puck to Matthews, and he's going to score the game-winning goal. I'm calling it right now. That Gustafsson will cost the Montreal Canadiens a playoff series. Gustafsson's a bum, and Victor Mete is a way better player. Sure, he doesn't have the offensive numbers yet, but he's 22 years old, man. Then why did we put him on waivers? Because Bergevin wanted probably to get Eric Gustafsson because, I don't know, because Bergevin's a dumbass. And Joey agrees with me, man. Joey knows. Joey knows, man. He watched the Philadelphia Flyers and knows how much big of a bum Eric Branson is. Listen, right now Bergevin's focusing on getting these big-ass defensemen and focusing on that. I want to see another tweet by him. Where's the stats of what's his face? Gustin. Because I'd like to read what oh my god, I really cannot find Gustin's number right now. Gustin is a bum, bro. Eric Gustin, acquired by the Montreal Canadiens, is a one-dimensional offensive defenseman and a power play specialist who was trusted very little by Alain Vigneault this year, probably because he's terrible defensively. He has a great shot and produces efficiently. What does Victor Mete say? What does he say about Victor Mete? Look at that. Let's see Victor Mete. Victor Mete plays on waivers. I've played very little this season, but has an extremely strong track record in terms of his impact on scoring chances for and against. Somebody really should claim him. We need size. That is the complete thing. No, this is a guy that would be so useful for the Montreal Canadiens. So useful. We need size, yeah, but this is a guy that's for the future, and you just lost a big key for the team. Anyways, let's move on. Stop talking about losing Victor Mete. Because Victor Mete, we're done. We're done with the Ottawa Senators. They did good. I think they have a big dub. They gained Mete. They gained picks. That's a really good deal for the Ottawa Senators. So, next up, Toronto. Perfect. Another team that we could probably debate about. We got Norlander. Yeah, but bro, Mete was a guarantee. Great analytically. You could have waited on him, right? He's a great player. It was a big loss. No matter which way you look at it, it's going to be a big loss, especially since he went to Ottawa. He went to Ottawa, the team that is going to be on the rise here very, very soon. So, I just don't think it's a very smart move losing out on Victor Mete. It's a loss no matter which way you put it. Anyways, Toronto, they were very active this year. Caps got fleeced by Detroit. Yeah, they paid a little bit too much, but that's what you have to pay for term on a guy that is very good. Mantha is still a very, very strong player. I think Anthony Mantha will be a very useful player. I was talking about it a little bit at the start of the stream, how, in my opinion, the deal was, 50-50, almost 50-50, if he didn't have, some of those picks in there. But I think he should have went to the AHL and trained. But, bro, Victor Mete already had a ton of NHL time. Why send him down to the AHL when he already had, NHL experience? And he's played a lot with that team. He just wasn't very trusted. All right. So, anyways, we're moving on now. We're pushing the Mete conversation to the side. Pushing them aside. So, Toronto Maple Leafs, they were very, very active. They made a lot of moves. First of all, they picked up Riley Smith and threw him right on the LTIR, which saves them some money. And also brings in another depth guy for the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. And I think that'll be a very good move. Then they also made another big move, picking up Nick Foligno, which is another very, very solid move here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I was a little skeptical. They definitely did an overpayment on this fact. And Nick Foligno is not worth a first and 2/4, but they got him, I think it was 50% retained by the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then another little bit of it was retained by the San Jose Sharks. So they are only paying him now $1.375 million for Nick Foligno, which I think is a great deal for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but for the fact that they did overpay him. And they're going to be getting a very good defensive forward in Nick Foligno, right? He's going to be a guy that could play up on the top lineup with Matthews and Marner. He has that American connection there with Austin Matthews. Galchenyuk has been doing very well there as well. And now they just made this team a hell of a lot deeper. So I think what the Toronto Maple Leafs did was very good in this deal. They bolstered the team up, and sometimes you got to sacrifice that first round pick for a player like Nick Foligno. We've seen it with Tampa Bay and Barclay Goodrow last year. So I think Nick Foligno, it was, good choice for him. Vegas was so close to getting Getzlaf, but no team wanted to eat his salary. I mean, yeah, no team wanted to eat his salary. It's a lot of money for $8 million. But you guys did get Janmark. We're definitely going to be getting on to Vegas here very soon after we get past Toronto and the Canadian division. David Riddick, they picked him up. That was, like we talked about, that was a very good deal there for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They get a solid goalie. I mean, on a solid goalie, but they only gave up a third-round pick, and maybe he does play better in their system because, I mean, Calgary did play a very defensive structure system, and David Riddick still did struggle. So we'll have to see how well he does in Toronto. Maybe a new change of scenario. Maybe he does him better. Jack Campbell's been doing really well there, so we'll have to see how well David Riddick does. Gives him a backup because Freddie Anderson could be out for the rest of the season from what I've heard. Ben Hutton as well. Nice offensive defenseman. Gives them some more flexibility in that back end. Now you could play Ben Hutton, which you got a lot of now depth players. He also picked up Somalia, another guy. They traded away Barbananov, who wasn't really doing too much. So they improved their center depth with picking up Somalia, which could be a very useful player for them. And they also got Stefan Newson as well. So a pretty deep team. They're really going to look beasts. Like, I mean, the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to be a very, very deep team. The only issue that they're probably going to have is goaltending with Jack Campbell and David Riddick. But Jack Campbell's been absolutely amazing. And I mean, even Hutchinson's been amazing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I have no denying that Riddick might transform himself because I've seen Riddick play good before. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what's really been going on with him. He struggled at the ending of last season. He was terrible. That's why he didn't play in the playoffs. And we'll have to see how well he does in Toronto. But honestly, I think this is a day that, Toronto did trade away a lot of assets, but they got a lot of assets that are going to really, really help this team moving forward and will really help them out big time. Yeah, and Riddick can make huge saves when needed. There's going to be some games where Riddick is going to play absolutely amazing, but he's there to be the backup for Jack Campbell, and I think that's what they're bringing in David Riddick for, is to be that actual backup, so they actually have like another goalie instead of just having Hutchinson, which is pretty worrisome to have a Hutchinson as your backup goalie, to be completely honest with you. On to the Vancouver Canucks. Also, before we continue, if you haven't already, guys, make sure to slap that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. That'll be very much appreciated. Right now, we're on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure to slap that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. That'll be very much appreciated. So let's talk about the bums of the day, the Vancouver Canucks, who actually lost out on their deals. We're just going to really quickly glance over them because they really did not have a good deadline. They really did not. I do want to check if, okay, I'm still on that good preview. Perfect. They really did not have a good deadline, to be completely honest with you. They did pick up Madison Bowie, which I guess is a W, but they did trade away a 4th-round pick. But they did gain a backup pick. That's not a bad move for them. They didn't do too much. They traded away Adam Gaudette for Matthew Highmore, which I don't know what they were really thinking here with picking up Matthew Highmore. I mean, Highmore's not bad, but he's not the greatest. Gaudette's also hasn't been the greatest, and, he's probably going to be demanding a pretty decent amount of money this year. So with this move, yeah, in Calgary is definitely not going to be making it to the playoffs, most likely. Unless the Habs absolutely drop the ball and they start crap in the bed and Calgary makes a resurgence or something, but you never know. Something might happen. But Gaudette going off to Chicago, which I think will be an absolute steal. Perlo loves Adam Gaudette. I don't know, analytically, Gaudette doesn't look too good right now, but it gives Chicago some more center depth. But I think the Vancouver lose out big time on this deal, especially losing a nice prospect like Adam Gaudette. They did get Madison Bowie, though. He hasn't been signed to a contract yet. He's another guy that's been just kind of hasn't really been playing too much this year. Hasn't really been able to find hasn't been able to find that success as a defenseman. So not a bad move by Vancouver. Fills in the spot that they lost in Jordy Ben, who he'll be going off to the Winnipeg Jets, and that's not a bad deal. Or they're just gonna lose to the first round again. Oh well, I mean, you guys probably will as well. So I don't know. We'll see how well we do against the Winnipeg Jets. We've been doing pretty good against the Jets, most of the season anyways. I think that's one of the better teams that we've been going up against that we actually have some successes, the Winnipeg Jets. So I think it'd be a very tight series, and I think we could possibly pull out on that series as well. But, I mean, if you want to talk trash, man, I mean, you're a Habs fan, bro. All I have to do is bring up the Chris Kreider incident on Carey Price, and you'll get upset. So, anyways, just had to stir the pot. We'll beat the Leafs. Okay. Okay, brother. I love Habs biasy. Anyways, Jordy Ben. I mean, they get a pick for the bum Jordy Ben. He's decent. Decent pickup for the Winnipeg Jets, which we'll be getting into the Winnipeg Jets now because there's nothing too much to talk about with the Vancouver Canucks. I don't even want to dissect their salary cap because it's hell there in Vancouver. Let's take a look at the depth charts. So yeah, they'll probably maybe replace Logan Stanley. Jordy Ben played very low minutes. He's a decent defenseman was for the Vancouver Canucks, but I mean, you look at his defensive numbers, he hasn't been that great defensively since 2019. Offensively, he's been pretty good this year with the 58%, but horrible defensively. But that team's just horrible defensively anyways, just in general. But it's not a bad move. I don't think it's a nice depth pick for the Winnipeg Jets. Adds another, solid defenseman for the team to make them more, bulky, which should be exciting for the Winnipeg Jets. And I think that should help them out a little bit. But it's not going to help them tremendously. I don't know if they'll be able to make Jordy Ben good. He's kind of a bum. I mean, what did they pay? What did they pay for him? Like a 6th round pick or something like that. So they really didn't give up too much for a guy for Jordy Ben. So it's definitely not a loss, but they weren't able to improve defensively. So I'm going to give that a big L for them because if they're going to have to go up against, the Edmonton Oilers, Neil Pionk doesn't do too bad, but we have seen in some other cases where the defensive guard gets absolutely ripped apart by the Edmonton Oilers, and we've seen it by the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. But we could also see that they could score goals as well. So it's really going to be up to how they're going to be feeling that day, right? They're going to be really weak defensively. They're going to be bailed out big time by Hellebuck. But, I mean, not upgrading on defense is a huge loss for the Winnipeg Jets. That's something that they massively need to improve upon, and they weren't able to. But they were also really tied up on the cap. This was one of the teams that was highly talked about, but they didn't do anything, which is, kind of a bummer for Winnipeg Jets fans. They probably did want to see a little bit more, something more than Jordy Ben. But it is what it is there for the Jets. But I do see them as losers in this draft. So the winners and losers for the deadline for the North. I think I'm going to have to give the winners to Toronto. Toronto, I think they got a big W in this draft or this trade deadline. They picked up some really solid players in Nick Foligno. And I think they're an easy winner compared to everyone else. They massively improved their team. Your team can't be talking. You guys lost to 5-0, bro. Man, you don't even know. That game was played on the memorial service of Kobe Cave, who passed away a year ago on that day, and the Edmonton Oilers had to play on that day. So you really can't say anything. Bro, your team has lost to so many teams, bro. I don't know why you're trash talking me because the Habs been sucking ass for a long time now, bro. Right? Carey Price sucks ass, and if you're going to be going up against the Toronto Maple Leafs, you better hope that Carey Price gets back to his proper form because he hasn't been doing that the past couple years. And you're paying him $10.5 million. At least I'm not doing that. Anyways, I think the winners, Toronto. Losers, feel like the losers will definitely have to be the Jets. They didn't do very much, and your team's trash as well. Yeah, it is trash. At least I can admit it. At least I can admit it. Carey Price is good. See, that's the thing. I can accept my team is trash, and you can say that Carey Price is good, bro. When has Carey Price been good? You're paying him $10.5 million for a .903 save percentage, man. How is that? How is this good? He had one good playoffs. Look at your... Oh, I would actually love to look at my goaltender. I would actually love to do that for you, bro. Here, I'll take a look at you. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, Mike Smith. Oh, look at that. Oh, he has a better save percentage than Carey Price. Oh, isn't that weird? Mike Smith is actually having a better season than Carey Price this year. And a better goals against. And a better record. Whoo, I just blew my mind. Holy fuck. And we're paying him less money? Whoo, we're only paying him 1.5 and he's gone the next year? And the defense is not terrible. It's definitely not the greatest. Definitely not what we want it. But, man, you can't be saying anything anyways because your defense is completely full with bums as well, man. I could dissect this team for you, man. Look at Joel Edmondson. What? Defensive defenseman what? Defensive defenseman what? Great this year. Not too bad defensively. Shea Weber, not bad. Jeff Petry's actually been having a really good year. I miss Jeff Petry. But, man, can't be saying anything, bro. The Montreal Canadiens play a very good game, and I give them that. They play some of the best 5-on-5 hockey in the league right now. But, in the end, Carey Price is a bum. He's getting older, and he's not playing very well this year, especially for the money that you're paying him. And I do admit, yeah, the Edmonton Oilers, we have some trash-ass players. Our depth is pretty trash. Our defensive core is not terrible. You know, yeah, we got McDavid. But in the end, the Habs are also a little bit of trash as well. End of story. Anyways, we'll continue on to the West Division. Yeah, I know. I know you gave you gave us a second for Petry. Oh, I know. That was when we had bad management. It doesn't affect me, bro. You could bring up so many of the bad trades, man. I don't care. You could pick up the fact that we played Milan Lucic $6 million, the fact that we traded Adam Larson, or we traded Taylor Hall for Adam Larson, the fact that we also could have had Matthew Barzal. Man, you could go on. You could go on about all the bums in Edmonton, man. It doesn't fucking matter, bro. I don't care. I'm used to it, bro. I'm used to the fire, the garbage fire that the Edmonton Oilers were. It's funny to look back on because, I mean, most teams have that phase. And Mark Bergevin is a psychopath as a GM, dude. Absolute psychopath. The moves that he makes, I'm surprised that this team's not a bum-ass team already, bro. I'm surprised that this team's not a bum-ass team already. The moves that they did, actually, this offseason was pretty good. He's a psycho, though. Big-time psycho. Anyways, let's move on. Let's move on. Yeah, let's take a look at the, not the St. Louis Blues. The Vegas Golden Knights. Your team always loses in the first round. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, we haven't made it into the first round. Bergevin's a good GM. Yeah, at some moments of time. He's good at overpaying people. That's one of the good things that he's good at. Overpaid Price big time. Yeah, so Vegas. They didn't do too much for moves. So let's take a look at everything that they did. Vegas. So they picked up Matthias Janmark with practically a lot of it retained. So they're only paying him about $500,000 for Matthias Janmark. And this is the only deal that they made. Right now they're top of the division. They needed some extra depth to the team. Matthias Janmark brings them. He could play center. He's definitely not the greatest center in the world. And I think Matthias Janmark, not too bad of a winger. I think it'll be a good pickup for the Vegas Golden Knights. Makes him a little bit deeper. This year he had 19 points in 41 games, 10 goals. So he brings some more goal scoring prowess to the Vegas Golden Knights, and he'll fit great on that third line. So sucks that they, weren't able to pick up that centerman and Ryan Getzlaf or anybody like that. But in the end, they still do have a decent center core with, especially Chandler Stevenson. He's been playing pretty well this year as well. So not a bad move, I think, for the Vegas Golden Knights. I think they did pretty well this season. I think they did very well with what they did in this at the trade deadline here. So next team, St. Louis Blues. St. Louis, Doug Armstrong, what have you done? Actually, let's just take a look. I'm done reviewing every damn team. It's taking forever. Taking forever, bro. Let's take a look at just each individual deal. That's what we'll do. They'll make it a little faster. Make it a little faster. So, yeah, we'll start off with the New Jersey Devils deals. So this move, I actually thought this was a pretty good deal for the New York Islanders. They get Cal Palmieri and Travis Zuzak. Cal Palmieri, who is a pretty good defensive guy, has shown it before. He's a pure rental. Has already done pretty well there in New York, already putting up a goal. This year he's had 17 points in 34 games, so he's not looking terrible there. For the New York Islanders will be a nice pickup, especially a good replacement for Anders Lee as well. So that will be nice. Zuzak as well, just another nice depth piece there for the New York Islanders. I think this deal is a massive win because they didn't have to give up very much. These guys, I don't think will turn out really to be anything. And a 2021 first round pick, won't be too bad, but it's going to be a nice thing. Hey there, Bill. Matt that just got traded to the Capitals. Yeah, I did see that. We talked about that at the beginning of the live stream there. I was kind of giving my thoughts on how this should be a nice pickup there for the Capitals, but they did overpay just a little bit. Brent Connolly going to Chicago. I think this was a good move by Chicago. Brent Connolly going over there. Wasn't doing too well there for the Florida Panthers. It gave him some salary cap relief, just picking up Walmart and Carlson. They did have to trade away Bjorkström, which kind of sucks, and Riley Stillman, which analytically Riley Stillman looks great and will be a really nice pickup for the Chicago Blackhawks, especially defensively. Should be a very nice move. I thought the W went out purely to the Chicago Blackhawks because they were able to pick up a nice goal scorer in Brent Connolly, and they were able to get a nice prospect there in Bjorkström and Riley Stillman as well. We already talked about the Toronto move. Patrick Nemeth, great deal by the Colorado Avalanche. Absolute steal. And this is what I mean by great analytics and by picking up actually good players. Patrick Nemeth, great defensive stats. And that's why he's being picked up by the Colorado Avalanche, is because of his nice defensive analytics. He improves the team very nicely for the Colorado Avalanche. And they only had to give up a 4th round pick. Easy dub there. The Florida Panthers also picked up a nice defenseman there in Brandon Montour. Will help out the power play a little bit, get them a nice puck-moving defenseman, which should be a nice pickup there for the Florida Panthers. Colorado picked up the bum and Devin Dubnyk. Which, is not a terrible move. I don't mind it. But it's definitely not the greatest deal in the world by the Colorado Avalanche, especially picking up Devin Dubnyk. He's not the greatest guy in the world. Can you give me your opinion on the Bruins picking up Taylor Hall, Curtis Lazar, and Mike Riley? Yeah, sure. We'll go over to the Boston Bruins real quick for you. The Boston Bruins, I did not mind what they did. Especially for what they gave up. They barely gave up anything, and they got a decent amount of good players in return. The problem is, how will Taylor Hall do in this core? Because he's not a goal scorer. He's mostly a playmaker. That's going to be the biggest problem, and that's going to be the biggest question. Because Taylor Hall will most likely either be playing with Craig Smith or he'll be playing alongside a Jake DeBrusk who's been massively struggling to score goals. So who's going to score goals, right? It's not going to be Hall. It's not going to be Krejci. It's most likely going to have to be DeBrusk. So you're going to have to hope that DeBrusk either produces or you get Craig Smith producing as well. So that will be a big question mark. But Taylor Hall is a huge W because of the fact you guys only gave up in a second and a Bjork. That's not a big loss. You also pick up a great defenseman and Mike Riley, who is kind of like a Dylan DeMello, right? But offensively, I love the pitcher, Mike Riley. But Mike Riley will be a really good pickup for the Ottawa Senators. Good move by them, or by the Boston Bruins, I meant. Great move by them picking up Mike Riley. And Curtis Lazar as well. Nice depth player for the team. Will be perfect for the Boston Bruins. I think they did really good in this trade deadline, and they didn't have to give up too much, only a third and a second. And Bjork for Riley, Hall, and Lazar. It's an easy win, and it helps make a case to be competitive in the playoffs. So I think very good deals by the Boston Bruins. Very, very good moves. Next up, we were going to talk about, yes, this big move. David Savard going to the Tampa Bay Lightning. They didn't trade Jake DeBrusk. Are you kidding me? He sucks. Yeah, he does. Analytically, he is poor offensively this year. His finishing numbers, he just has not been able to get going. He's just not been Boston Bruins guy. But maybe Taylor Hall, maybe given another big offensive producer, maybe will help him out. But if he doesn't, then Jake DeBrusk is definitely not. His days are numbered in the NHL for sure. But David Savard going to the Tampa Bay Lightning, which improves them massively defensively. Picking up David Savard. Now they have like Hedman, Sergachev, McDonough, Savard, Cernak. They got a lot of good defensemen there in Tampa Bay. So they're making another case to push for a Stanley Cup. Did they pay a lot? Yes. But when you are trying to push for another Stanley Cup, trying to go back-to-back, you got to do things like this. And I think David Savard will be a big pickup. Jonas Singletheiler, he went to the New Jersey Devils. Just a minor deal between these two teams. I mean, they got a nice pick, 2021 conditional, but Jonas Singletheiler wasn't too much, just a depth player. Marill, we talked a little bit about him. Great defensive numbers, great pickup there for the Montreal Canadiens. We already got into these deals and this deal as well. Jeff Carter going to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Been a guy that's been pretty poor offensively. Hasn't been able to find that offensive touch over the past little bit. Only 19 points. But he is going to the Montreal or Toronto, or not Toronto, to Pittsburgh, who he will be playing with, of course, Mr. Sid the Kid. So I think this is a good deal by the Pittsburgh Penguins. They get a very good player in Jeff Carter, who he's not the greatest player in the world anymore, but they need some extra centermen, and Jeff Carter will play that second line pretty well, and he could possibly even play alongside of Crosby, so that will be nice. How much cap will open up if they get rid of Rask and Halak? If they get rid of Halak, I think that frees up what is it? I don't think you really want to lose Rask. $7 million for Rask, and then what is it for Halak? Where is he? Halak, there he is. Yeah, so about $9 million you get rid of if you lose Tuukka Rask and Yaroslav Halak. But I think either Tuukka Rask will be retiring next year or he'll keep playing. But I think Tuukka Rask is maybe somebody you keep. He hasn't really been playing too much this year because of his injuries. So hopefully he comes back healthy and swinging. Anyways, but Jeff Carter, nice pickup there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We already went through a lot of these deals. Good deal by Colorado picking up Carl Soderberg. That'll be a nice move by them. Sam Bennett going to Florida. We talked about Janmark. The big deal here, the big blockbuster. I think we're practically done talking about all the deals that have happened today, ladies and gentlemen. Hayden Fleury going to Anaheim. That'll be a nice move there by Anaheim. Getting a nice young defenseman there in Hayden Fleury. I think they just wanted to get him off the team. They knew that they probably wouldn't be able to get him back, so they got Johan Hakapa with not a bad move, and then Michael Raffle going to the Washington Capitals there. So good move there by Philly, and not a bad trade deadline to say the least. But that will be basically it, everyone, for the stream. If you haven't already, make sure to slap that like button and subscribe button as well, as I make content like this basically every single day. I do franchise mode videos for NHL, OGRs talking about all the Oilers games, and little stuff like this where I review the trade deadline, which was a lot of fun to do with you guys. Talk a little bit about hockey, talk some trash with Habs fan, which was always awesome to do. And it was a good day. So hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day. It was a fun trade deadline, even though it was absolute boring, especially near the end where there was no trades being traded at all. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I'm going to end the stream here, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will be trying to do some live streams later on this week for some play-by-play. Don't exactly know when, but check out my Twitter. The link will be down in the description below. If you want some updates there, go check that out. And yeah, I'll see you guys all later. Have a good one, boys. Let's hope Matheson don't come to the Bruins. Oh, dude, it would make off-the-wall hockey. Absolute pissed if Mike Matheson went there, bro.